one of my best poems, which has been repeatedly translated into English. The same poem, repeatedly translated. I translated it.
In modern parlance, we say it's going viral.
No, that I don't know this language. Not viral. Viral means it should appear on the YouTube or net and all that.
But it must translate it, you said.
No, this was long ago.
So when did you switch from Telugu to English?
That I can't say. I switched over. When I switched over, in terms of literature also, I left English totally and became a scholar in English, a writer in English, and later in life, late in life, a poet in English. In my 80s, after crossing my 4-score mark, I became a poet in English.
So poetry came to you very, very naturally as the muse dictated?
Yes, in the past, right from my boyhood.
And you don't think any English poet in general contributed to that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
So it is all divine?
Maybe. You call it what you like. Maybe divine. It may be just a beam from the divine light.
From above, actually.
From the divine light. But I would term it God's grace. So when the grace came, I could write.
Sir, you were a very, very established English teacher with international reputation, with scholarship on Hemingway. So you never thought your poetry was, hindered, tinkered by scholarship?
Maybe it was interrupted for a long time because all this I did for material things. I had to be a good scholar. I had to be a good teacher. Of course, I'm a teacher. I'm a born teacher because I have the patience necessary to good teaching. Because a good teacher should be patient with his students, with the backward students. So I was always kind, tolerant towards my students. So I was a teacher all right. I wanted to be as good a teacher as possible because I remember a time in Kendrapada when I sat under a tree and in the class I used to tell my students, if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to come to me and I'll clear all your doubts. And there was always a long queue under the tree. Eager students coming to have their doubts clarified. So that touched me. That made me act that role more and more. Because
So
the love of the student.
sorry to interrupt, sir. I get a feeling as the teacher came out, the poet and the translator, I think, took back seat.
Well, maybe you have a point there. Maybe the teacher withdrew, or the poet and the writer withdrew a little when the teacher came on the scene. And so actually my responsibilities as a teacher, as the head of the department,
Material things you said.
particularly in Kendrapada College, working against heavy odds, but I wanted to do as much good as possible to my students and to the institution.
What were the heavy odds?
For example, I wanted to bring an audio-visual system to the English department, and that was in 1960s, 64 or so. And I asked the British Council to supply some, cassettes. In those days, only cassettes were. And we bought a record player, a microphone, and all the other gadgets. And the British Council sent 4 cassettes. They were imported from London.
Oh.
From the BBC London.
Even I have heard of you. Like T.S. Eliot.
Yes, and many. Later many came. They were gifted subsequently. But in the beginning, only 4 cassettes came, and the import duty was 40 rupees,
Oh,
and the college refused to pay.
oh God.
And our salary was meager. But still, I spent 40 rupees from my pocket to have those cassettes released. And what's his name? Mark Tully. Mark Tully was in charge of the BBC then.
He was famous correspondent.
He was in the British Council and was in charge of the BBC. He wrote a letter, a very touching letter. He complimented me for spending money from my pocket for my college and said, "It is infuriating that your college management has refused to pay this meager sum of 40 rupees. So these are the odds.
These are the details.
And some principals were not very forthcoming to help the department, but some principals were. Gajendra Acharya was very generous. When I asked for a cup of tea for the seminars, he sanctioned money for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So these were very big things in those days, you know. Today they look like silly things, silly obstacles and so on, but once upon a time they didn't matter. And somehow, you know, we got all these things, and as long as I was there, I was able to use them. I used to carry the record player and cassettes to the honors classroom. What do you call it? Seminar room. Seminar room.
Yeah, we are exposed to that.
Yes, I just wanted our students to have an exposure.
So I have another question.
1 minute.